Howdy, everyone. Welcome to this week. We're in week 12, just coming in on to the last tail end of the semester. And as you can see, as I mentioned in the Discord and to the class, not last week, but the week before last week, I know was a holiday with Halloween. We came to the conclusion that it sounded like most folks were going to be out with their families that night. So, um, but it looks like we've been talking over Discord and everything about the Chirpy Hub assignment and everything. So if you're watching this pre-lecture, don't worry. If you need to hit me up for any context or anything around that, please do so and continue to do so while the assignment is still up. Because as I mentioned, I know it was a little bit of a different assignment, and kind of from the rest of the cadence of what we've been doing. But that being said, I did want to make mention of that before continuing on for today's lecture, which isn't, it's going to be pretty straightforward. We're going to be introducing a new library and some new concepts, and it's going to be pretty cool because this is where we get to take Python and kind of look at it as a way to dissect an actual language. And so, as you can see here, right, I have it up right here up on the board here. What is natural language processing? It is exactly what it is saying, and that's what we're going to learn about or use this week and kind of dissect. But it's the way of how we communicate with each other, right? The dialogue, the tone, the words, the phrases. It is a combination of those and other things, and how we do it back and forth. In this case, with communication response of how that works, right? And so now we're able to use Python in a way to ingest it, in a way to dissect it and find key indicators of words, phrases, tone, different languages, slang words, all sorts of crazy things. And for the assignment this week, you're actually going to be taking a testament from O.J. Simpson and taking it and dissecting it with the script that was provided this week. Which, by the way, as I'm stating this, there's actually another video already posted about how to do that. And the script is actually pretty straightforward. So I'm going to leave that video out there so that way it doesn't become too redundant here. But if you do need to have any clarifying questions, of course, you know where to reach out to me. Get a hold of me via Discord or via email. But you always know that Discord is connected to my phone. So that's going to be, if you need a direct answer from me, your best bet is going to be through Discord. So that being said, judging the effectiveness of how we interpret each other, right, is a big thing, and being able to automate that within code is also going to be a big thing, right? And so we're going to judge each other. How can that code judge what folks are saying? That's going to be a really crucial thing. Okay, a lot of the stuff that you're seeing here, right, is just how we express things. As we've evolved, we've started to express ourselves in different ways. We've started to communicate in different ways. We even have, micro eco culture or cultures within other places on the internet. Big thing is like Facebook and Twitter. For those of you that pay attention to like anything in like tech Twitter or infosec Twitter, it is its own ecosystem. It's an interesting thing to say the least. But there's lots of good resources out there, but there's also like where it's like if you are, someone of influence, popularity within those environments, like you are seen as like almost as a very popular, I don't want to say what's the word I'm looking for, like like a superstar or anything, but you are looked at someone as a certain influence with a very, very strong influence. The same you would see someone who, is popular in like acting, or someone who is a famous person, right? It's a very interesting time that we live in, right? Also the way of how we talk to each other through, as you can see, like blogs, texting, even emojis, right? I'm sure, as we're looking through this and I'm even sitting here talking about it. There are conversations that I've had where it's more emojis than it is words. I can't tell you how often I do that a lot with, especially like with just close friends, relatives, things like that. There's plenty of conversations where it's emojis being passed back and forth for a little bit, and it's good fun, right? And I think we've all been there. But the point is right, there's these new evolving ways of communicating, and we need to learn how to dissect it if need be. Like, right? Like if somebody was like, "Oh, I need you to do or like an automated analyzing of this file," and it's a text file, like a literal text transcript. I should probably say that, right? But it's a text transcript, and a lot of it's like emojis, or in this case, like bit emojis, things like that. How are you going to dissect that? How is it going to interpret that, right? Probably look at like hash files. There's probably things associated with those files where it has its own attributes, but still, you have to be able to dissect it and inspect it correctly. So, corpus. What is corpus? It's typically a collection of written texts that focus on a topic, event, author, or genre. Okay, so think of it as almost like kind of like a like, you know, when you go to, like, if we used to go to the library, and or we still go to the library, and you have to think about like a book, like what genre is it in, who is the author, what time was there, like or what was the year, the author, what genre is it, and did it have a certain subtopic, right? And we can think about ways of how we dissect that. Okay, so corpus is important to know because it's essentially almost like your roadmap a little bit. And so the NLTK, key resource right here is just going to nltk.org. It's going to tell you a lot about all the attributes, methods, all that good stuff within the NLTK library. That's going to show you how it uses to process I'm sorry, just anything that has to do with phrases, wording, languages. Like, so if you want to use it and test it out and play around with strings, you can do something like that. And essentially what it does is it breaks it down into metadata that can be ingested and understood through code. And it's pretty cool. There's a lot of cool different ways of how you can talk about it. Two of the things that we're going to talk about are post tags. So you're going to see post tags and tokenizers. So a tokenizer is essentially breaking it down into keywords. Okay. So as you can see here, right, it says tokenize the sentence. It's going to break this down into almost into phrases. So I will get the voting rights to be a reality for everyone. So it would break it down into, think about it literally into like tokens. Okay. And it's going to break it down into key phrases. I will get rights, and then it would break it there to be a reality for everyone. And you can use that. I mean, that's a key thing, right? If you wanted to break that down to try to find a certain word or a certain phrase, it's going to be important. Okay. And then you can associate tags with it. Okay. You can say, okay, like I need to put a tag on a certain part of the speech that's going to essentially tell me if it's aggressive, if it's happy, if it's sad, whatever it is. Okay. You're going to need to make sure that you put that up there. That's what it's going to be for. Okay. And in this case, it's just calling it tags, but it's printing out each tag. Okay. And so post tags in this case is the method, and it's going to post out each tag for it. And like I said, that's pretty much it. There's a demonstration video posted. So like I said, I would recommend walking through that. Let me see if there's anyone here. Doesn't look like there's anyone here tonight. So even if you didn't make it here tonight, it's okay. Look at the demonstration video. There's a couple other lecture videos that's posted. As well as if you need to meet up with me, use the office hour link or hit me up via Discord, and I'll be happy to sync with you. A few of you have done that over the past week, just with class being kind of not happening last week because of the holiday. So again, you know, if you need to get a hold of me, you know where I am. Otherwise, for this week, if we look at it, it's pretty straightforward. I'll walk you through on what you need to do really quick before walk you through this week's content. All right. So if we look, you're going to have, let me actually view this as student. So if you look at this week, you have another live lecture video. You have a quiz, pretty straightforward. Make sure that you get it done before the end of the week. Here's your transcript. As you can see, you're going to need to import the proper NLTK libraries. The script has it for you. You're also going to need to import. You might need to import those post tags and the monetizing or the token. I'm sorry, the tokenization. I didn't know why I said monetization. And you're going to need to write loops for each one of these. They're already in there, so you're just going to write a for loop that's going to reiterate each section. These sections are already in your assignment starter, and those are already in there. So if you look, and again, there's the demo file here, or I'm sorry, not the demo file. There's another lecture here that has the the demonstration in it. Take a look at that. And yeah, so make sure that you're using, where is it? This is the corpus, so this is the transcript, right? And as I mentioned, you have the O.J. Simpson trial transcripts. So make sure you take a look at those. Get your quiz in. If you're having any issues, of course, please feel free to hit me up. If you need a little bit more time, please contact me. Don't contact me last minute, because otherwise it just becomes a little hectic. So plan ahead if you can. Otherwise, yeah, looking forward to seeing everyone's submissions. And yeah, I guess we'll see everyone next week. And let me know if you have any questions.